Congratulations if you have made it so far. Now starts the fun detailing part, so let's get ready to surface. Okay, now that we are done with all the major parts, we can start with the detailing. And the first thing I will do is giving him some patterns here on his head. Stuff like this, some random dots. Okay, let's look from the top view and draw some circles. Center circle, 2-point circle, doesn't matter. Some ellipses rather. And we will use these ellipses to project them onto his head. Since we have the freedom to do whatever we want, I would like to avoid to place them onto the already existing edges. Maybe here, a small one. Just make some random stuff. Ones on the front side can be a little bit smaller. Okay, I think these will do the job. Select the body and Shift I. Now the curves you want to imprint onto the body. And hide occlusion. First of all, let's see what we get. So there is no really weird stretching. But maybe if we look from the front view, they are too symmetrical. So 2 here and 2 here. So I will add one more here, I guess. Let's see what we get. Yeah, this looks cool. And hide occlusion, otherwise all these circles will be also projected on everything dealing with the body, even here. Okay. Select all these circles and put them in the construction line folder. Okay, now that we have all these imprints, let's do some funny things with it. So take this body, Shift H for isolating it. There is a lot of stuff we can do. Select all these circles and I want to save these surfaces. So therefore I will first of all Shift D, duplicate them, hide them for now. Again, go to face mode, select these faces again. Punch in holes by dragging with offset face command, which pops up automatically when you select faces in face mode. Okay, that's the first thing. Now this guy has holes in his head. The second thing is select all these edges and fillet them and see what we get. So that we have cool roundings if we hide the edges. And if we bring back the face, the sheets, we can select again all these sheets and extrude them by pressing E. And I don't know whether I'm able to extrude them like so. Maybe there will weird extrusions. No, that's not what I want. Select the faces one by one and extrude them one by one, so you can extrude them along the normals. And if we press tab, we can extrude along both directions. And press B for new body. Here for the distance, or type in something like 2 millimeters. So you have a round number, which you can also use for all the other faces. And last thing I would like to do with this tail is, of course, fillet them. Fillet and give him a big fat fillet. Something like this. 3 millimeters and press OK. Hide the sheets. Let's see how we are doing. Take this solid and press simply SS for covering up these gaps. And we will do so by typing in, again, round numbers, numbers that we can remember when we apply them also to the other faces. 1.05. That's what we have so far. So we can apply the exact same operation to all the other sheets. So let's make again one together. I will time lapse the rest. Let's take all the sheets and the body, Shift H, isolate them, go to face mode. So select this guy and press extrude and tab so you can extrude along both directions and type in a distance of 2. Press B for new body. That's the first thing. The second thing is filleting with 3 millimeters. The last thing is closing this gap thing by selecting this guy, press SS 2 times, scale 1.05 for all 3 directions, and press OK. And as I said, I will do the exact same stuff for all the other sheets. That here for closing the gap I went too far. 1.05 was too big for this guy because now I have lost the filleting of the hole. So if I press SS and make it slightly smaller so that I can see this, I think that looks better. Here it's okay. Here also. Let's check this one here. That's okay also. Okay. Let's try SS and make it slightly smaller. No, we don't need to do so because here it's okay also. So the only problem was with this one. And now we have some cool detailing on the head. Okay, let's see what else we can do. I want that this guy has some leaves. Let's see. Something like this. Go to front view and spline curve and just freestyle draw a shape like so. And we will do the fine tuning now. If we go to control point mode, G, X after having selected the top bird. This guy should snap to this one. Press Control so it snaps to this one on the bottom. Now let's draw a line. Go to point mode, select only this point and drag it out. Give this guy also a control point by pressing Shift S. And now let's select these two, push them out. Let's look from the right view. I will give this one another control point, Shift S. Let's look from the right view, push this one back. And these two control points, push them further to the left. So we have a cool bending going on. These two control points, we will push them further back. And these two to the front, so we have a cool S shape going on. Select these two. Now we can play around and see how we are doing. This one, only this one, can push this one further back. And now let's make our loft, like these two. Press L to loft them. That looks okay. Take this sheet from the front view, bring it out of the curved stuff, and mirror it. Alt X. And since we are not in the middle of the scene origin, we have to mirror freestyle, pressing F, and mirror this one freestyle with merge halves together selected. Press OK. Now we have one sheet. These shapes are too sharp. The overall design of our guy is rounded, so I want this rounded design also when it comes to his leaves. We have to round this up. Going to edge mode, select these two edges, Shift D and bring this one out. Go to solid mode, hide this one for a minute so it doesn't get in our way. Go to edge mode, select these two and flatten them. It will be obvious what I'm trying to do in a minute, but for now, just scale them along the y-axis pressing S, Y, 0. So if we look from the top view, this guy is completely flat. We have scaled it along the y-axis, pressing SY0. Now again, let's go to the front view and round these up, these two endings, by going to the tangent circle. It lives here under the circle menu, here tangent circle. Create the tangent circle by selecting the first point on the edge somewhere, it doesn't matter where, somewhere here. Then the second point on the edge. And now you can see what we are creating. We are creating a circle. And the sharper you want the ending to be, the smaller the tangent circle should be. And the bigger this tangent circle is, the rounder will be the ending. I will go with something like this. That's okay. And we will do the same here for the bottom. So select the tangent circle, then select the curves, both sides, and now drag out the tangent circle. And in this case, for the bottom, the tangent can be of course much bigger. And now let's trim all the unnecessary segments by pressing T and start deleting. We don't want this, so that we are left with only these two curves, and we will use them for cutting the leaf we have just deactivated. So activate it, go to solid mode, select the sheet, then press C for cutting, then select the cutters, which are the two curves we have just created. Select this one, then shift select the second one, press OK. And we can't see what we have done because the edges are hidden, so bring back the edges. Know the drill, it's here. And if we go to solid mode, we can simply delete the sharp endings. And we can give the middle also a tiny fillet. So select the middle and press BD. I guess we have done leaves in another tutorial when we did the strawberry. Yes, the strawberry. There I also created some leaves. That's what we have so far. Now select this guy and press F. Thicken sheet so we can solidify it. Drag this out slightly, not too much. Something like this. This will do the job. And now it's a solid. And of course, let's give him some fillets here. Okay, and let's see if we can fill it also without having any problems on the other side. Let's type in this time the value of 1 millimeter for both sides. Yeah, we are successful. First of all, bring this one to here. Let's see what we can do with it. It's up to you if you want to save these roundings. I will delete them. Maybe we can put these two into the construction lines folder. Okay, before continuing with any type of detail, I would like to show a weird bug I run into. If you select this guy, you may have noticed, if I press G, this cursor, this gizmo, is not at the center of the leaf. So let's bring this guy again to its old position. So mirror the object. So let's press Alt X, and obviously the gizmo is now at the center. And let's press F for freestyle and press center. Mirror it along the center of the object. Press OK without merging halves together. We will do it manually with the union boolean. And if we take both of them and press Q twice, so we have a union boolean, press OK. Try to do any kind of operation like moving or scaling. You can see that the gizmo is at the center of the object. That's what I wanted. Okay, let's continue. The next step is creating a stem. And this mirroring thing helped me, by the way, by letting me create such a line which I can borrow pressing Shift D. Now I have this curve. If we press Shift H, we can't edit it. We first have to rebuild it. So let's press rebuild. We can give it specific points. I will leave it at 10 for now. Press OK. Go to control point mode. Select this guy. Search for extend curve. Here, let's give it a value of, let's say, 100. Press OK. Bring back the rest, Alt H. Now you can see that we have continuity of this shape of the leaf. And the next step is simply piping this. Let's see what we get. So again, from the right view, press P for pipe. Type in a section size and I will go with 10. In face mode, push this one in. Shift X. Go to this guy in edge mode and bring it further down. So I have some room here, which I can use for filleting later on. Go to edge mode, select this guy, Shift J with G1 continuity, press OK. And now the next step is taking both of them, Q, making a union boolean, press OK. And now let's see if we will be successful filleting this whole edge, starting from here by pressing Alt. So select this whole edge all the way to here, select this one also, pressing Shift Alt. And let's try our filleting. Giving a random number, let's try something like 5 and 5 and see. This looks cool on both sides. So we can go with 5 and 5. Let's press OK. Hide the edges and see what we have. Bringing this guy to the center, GX, and press Ctrl so it snaps to the Z-axis. So we are exact in the middle. Let's see from the right view. Now we have a cool thick stem. I like this one. Rotate it so it's more streamlined. So we have a aerodynamic leaf, which also fits to this shape. Okay, let's look from the front view. That looks cool. And I will change the position of this leaf after arraying it. So let's do the array. Therefore, we need a pivot, which we can use for radial arraying this guy. Go to edge mode, Alt select this edge, Shift D, press OK. And now in solid mode, Shift select the leaf, Shift H for isolating both. We will use this one, the center of this one, as a pivot point. Select the leaf, look for radial array, and here is the center. That's what I wanted, but 8 is too much. I want 5. Press OK, and if we bring back the rest, but I want to change the rotation of these 5 leaves because I like the thick neck which is in the background and now it's covered by the leaf. So let's take all 5 leaves, rotate them by 36 degrees, press OK. Now it looks like it is not centered any longer. So let's recenter it. Again, press Ctrl for centering it along the y-axis. Let's look from the front view. Yeah, this looks better. And of course, be careful with this thing. So all the 4 leaves, they look okay. They don't touch any other part of our guy. Only this one. First disable this one. Bring the pivot to somewhere here, pressing V, and do something like this. Play around a little bit with this one. Okay. And I will bring this guy further to the front. So the root of the stem will change in comparison to the other leaves. And if you hide all the edges, go to this. I will merge these leaves with the head, but not now because, okay, let me show you what I want to do. I want to give it another cool detail, and that detail will be a saliva which is dropping here from his lower lip. And I want to give him the saliva after rotating this head, and therefore I have to unjoin this part. Bring back the edges. So let's go to face mode, select this one, press Alt J, and as soon as we press Alt J, so unjoin, the body consists of 3 sheets. This is a sheet, body itself with the arm. This one we have just unjoined, call it neck. The neck is a sheet, and the head. The name remained as body, but you know what I mean. This head is also a sheet. And now I want to rotate all these parts, but not the leaves. So let's take all these leaves. I guess all these pipes are the leaves. Ctrl G and hide it for a minute. Now we have access to this part, and hide also the fork and knife. Now go to solid mode, select all these guys. Yeah, that's what I wanted to select. And rotate it along this center again of this circle. So therefore, let's take this body, deactivate it, enable snapping, select all these solids, rotate, press B for changing the pivot, snap the gizmo to the center of this circle, at the center of this circle, like so. And now we can rotate from the front view, like so. We can do something like this. So he looks like what you want. So he looks a little bit more menacing. Now let's bring back the sheet and hope that we can connect these two without having any problems. So let's see. Hide this curve, select these two objects, press J, joint. That's a good sign. And now it shouldn't be a problem to join these two sheets. Again, press J, and now we have back our body as a solid. Let's bring back the fork and the knife, and nothing intersects. That's okay. And that was the reason why I haven't joined the leaves, which I will do now, because I didn't want the leaves to rotate together with the body. And now I can join these guys. I will leave the leaves as a separate group, but I will duplicate them and I will join the duplicates with the body. So let's press Shift D, right click and move selected items to root. Deactivate the leaves. We don't need this leaves group anymore. It's just a backup because we will work with these duplicated ones. So let's select all these 5 leaves and the body. Let's press Q, press OK. And these edges here show all of them are merged now. Now let's try our filleting, pressing BD. It's a quite simple edge here, but nevertheless, Plasticity doesn't want to fill it automatically. So I guess we have to fill it manually. Let's try something like 10. Okay, 10 works. If you are happy with the size of this fillet, you can go with 10. That's what I will do. Otherwise, the tutorial will be too long. BD. Here again, let's try 10. That looks messy. I will go with 8. Let's try 9. 9 again looks too messy. Okay, I will go with 8. Okay, let's give this guy another cool detail. First of all, we don't need this one. Delete it. And let's look from all angles. And what I would like to do with this guy now is giving him saliva. So some liquid which is flowing out of his mouth right here on this side, because his head is tilted toward this side. So let's see how we can tackle such a challenge. If you have organic forms like this, and if you want to use these organic forms for making another form out of it, of course you have to borrow stuff. So if we go to solid mode, select this guy, the lip, and Shift D duplicate it, and Shift H for isolating it. We can use this part, this segment. So therefore let's go to left view and cut from here. So we are dealing only with this part. Let's go to face mode, select this face, press Ctrl R, and we want to cut along the other direction. So tap for UV direction, tap. So this will be the first cut, and we want the saliva to be here, and here will be the second cut. Again, press tab. So we have this segment and we can delete the rest. Next step is going to the top view and again divide somewhere along these lines. Select the spline curve. Let's make something like this. and go to control point mode, and now you can make your fine tuning, adjust the curve. Let's say I want something like this. And guys, I think this is the first time in history that someone is CAD surfacing a saliva. Yeah, let's make something like this and use this as a cutter. So let's go to solid mode again, press C, and this one as the cutter, press OK. We don't need this part, can delete it. And now we are left with only this part. We have to have some round curves, obviously. It cannot stay like this. I will take these two edges and Shift D, duplicate them. SX0 so we can flatten them. And let's look from the left view. And this time I want to connect these two newly created curves with a tangent circle. Go here to tangent circle, select the first curve, then the second curve. Let's make something like this. And the same for this ending. First curve, second curve. Now we can trim. And if we select all four curves, join them from the left view. Now, if we go ahead and try to cut this sheet with this curve, plasticity will give us probably an error because the curve has the same shape as the edge from this sheet. This causes conflicts when you try to cut. But let's try anyhow. Select this one, press C, and then as the cutter, select this curve. Plasticity gives us the finger. And if we press OK, failed to cut body into sections. Plasticity doesn't give us a reason for this failure. I guess it's because of this overlapping situation. So therefore, select this curve and make it slightly smaller so there aren't such conflicts. Press SS, make it slightly smaller. Be careful that this curve doesn't overlap with the edge of the sheet whatsoever. After scaling it, also change the position. Now the curve is in the area of the sheet and there aren't any intersections with the edge of the sheet. Now we can try to cut again. Select the sheet, press C, and now the cutter, there aren't any errors and you can see already the cut. Let's press OK. Now we can delete this one and we are left with the perfect curvature of the lip, and this will be the base for our saliva. And here remaining junk, and this one deleted also. And now we are left with this guy. And if you bring back the rest, we have a situation like this. In solid mode, press F for thicken it, thicken sheet. Now we can drag it out. Select the edge in edge mode. With Alt selected, so the whole loop of the edge, fillet it. And if it is too tedious to drag around, just type in the numbers. Try some round numbers for both endings. That looks okay. We can even go up. 003. Yeah, it works. Next step is creating some lines. Simple lines like so. Go to bottom view and G. And let's bring this line out. Again, G. It isn't visible from the bottom or from the top because it is a straight line. So let's place this one right here under this sheet of the newly created saliva thing. If you look from the left, it's visible. Bring this one up. And let's see, that looks okay. Look from the front, hide the fork and knife for a minute. Yeah, that looks okay. And I will do the same here and here. So here at the front part of the saliva thing and here in the middle. So there are 3 drops. Shorter or longer as you wish. I will make this one shorter because here is a bigger area for a larger drop and here is a smaller one for the smaller area. And now let's make a third one. This guy can be somewhere here. It isn't visible, but since this one is still active, if you press any kind of operation, let's say G in our case, you can see the cursor again. That's the only thing we need to position this line. Again, from the left view, We can even make a fourth one here. Again, a short one. Okay. Next step is giving this guy circles. By the way, I have uninstalled and reinstalled Plasticity and resetted all the settings. That's why I have this user interface now with the default color. And I can also use the default shortcuts. So if I press Shift C, I can drag out a center circle here at the tip of this line. Press V for changing the direction. Let's duplicate this one. SS. Make this one smaller, real small, and we will loft these guys. This one can be smaller, and let's duplicate this again. This will be the third one. Let's look from the bottom view. Again, smaller, but not as small as the one in the middle. This will do the job. Okay. Now it's completely inside this solid, but that's okay. So this one is already selected. We don't need this line. It was just to position these circles. So let's take this one. It's already selected. Then the second one, the second circle, and the third one. From the left view, isolate them, pressing Shift H, loft them. And if you press OK and bring back the rest, we can take these two, isolate them, select this edge, press Shift J, okay, so it's okay, we can leave this as it is. We can select this edge and press Shift J with G1 continuity, so that here is a cool drop. And if we select both solids, this one is now a solid, Q, Boolean them, and we don't need this one in the back. Select these guys, these two faces, Shift X. In edge mode, select this edge loop, pressing Alt, and again Shift X. And in edge mode again, select this edge and B, D. Let's see if we can. Yeah, now we can exaggerate till Plasticity gives us a butt kick. Okay, this one doesn't look good. Let's try something like 0.02 for both sides. This looks better. Let's try even a smaller value, 0.01. No, I guess 0.02 was cool. And if we hide the edges, congratulations for our first Saliva drop. If we bring back the rest, we have something like this. We hide the curves. I will also make the rest of these guys. Maybe I will also make an operation here. But this is all, of course, up to our personal taste. Okay, let's make this one also together, and the rest I will time lapse. First step is creating a center circle. Here, like so. B for changing the direction. Shift D. This one can be smaller, SS. Tiny one this time. Smaller than the one we did in the last or in the first drop. And the third one is again somewhere here in the structure. Shift D, bring this one in. Okay, now if we take again these three, Shift H, isolate them, loft them, pressing OK, bring back the rest, select the loft and the Saliva, Shift H, just check what we have here. That looks okay, and you can of course play around with the position, making slight adjustments. Shift J for closing this one. G0 is completely fine. And here, select this edge loop, Shift J, G1. If we make something like G2, we get such a drop. I like G1. Now, this one is a solid. Select both solids. I don't know why this one is a sheet. Select both solids, press Q, Q. Now it's a solid. Now we can delete these redundant faces. Select both faces, Shift X, show the edges so we can see what we are doing. In edge mode, select this edge loop, Shift X for closing this one. And now I can see somehow it converts itself again to a sheet. Although there isn't any open stuff, in the next Boolean operation it will again convert itself into a solid, so that's not a problem. And the last step is, of course, taking this one and make a big fat fillet. Fill it as much as Plasticity lets you. Here I guess it's again something like 0.02. Looks okay. I won't play around. Hide the edges. This one I will time lapse. a problem. Here is too much stuff going on, and I will go back a few steps before I did the boolean. Reposition this drop, bring it further out, away from these edges, even something like this, and I will push this one up so I can get more room here. This looks better. And in face mode, push this one in. And now we can again do our union boolean. Select this one, Q, looks good. It looks bad. It's interesting. If you select first the sheet, then the solid and press Q, gives us an error. If you first select the solid, then this fake sheet, because it's not a sheet, it is a solid like I showed you before, it works. And there you go. Now it's a solid. And I will put again this saliva stuff here at the front, so that here is also some drops. But I will do this off the record. And if you want to do the same, it's a cool challenge for you. See you later.